Hello and welcome to Nonprofit Times TV. I'm Randall Mauricio.
And I'm Tamara Furlansky. NPT TV is the latest offering from the Nonprofit Times, the leading business publication for nonprofit management.
We have the latest news and information from the nonprofit sector for you today and every 2 weeks.
Here are a few of the stories you'll see on the show today.
A $100 million surprise for students.
Healthcare funding in the US plummets.
And in our feature story, we find out what's really in the hearts of donors.
This episode is brought to you by Wealth Engine, a leading provider of prospect research and wealth identification solutions.
Teachers in Newark, New Jersey might have to praise students for using Facebook during class rather than send them to detention. This after the social networking site's co-founder Mark Zuckerberg pledged $100 million to the ailing public school system. Zuckerberg says every child deserves a good education, and right now it's not happening. The donation, paid out over 5 years, will be the first grant from his new foundation, Startup Education, which focuses on improving education in the United States. Zuckerberg appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show with New York Mayor Cory Booker and New Jersey Governor Chris Christie to discuss the donation. Mayor Booker says some 50% of high school students in Newark don't graduate. The state took control of the school system from local officials in 1995, but Governor Christie says the state will authorize the mayor to develop a comprehensive education plan. The school system's annual budget is roughly $800 million. School and state officials are starting on a plan for putting the donation to work.
Snapshots of charitable support for healthcare in Canada and the United States last year have produced two very different pictures. According to the Association for Healthcare Philanthropy, or AHP, donations dropped $944 million in the U.S. last year compared to 2008 levels. Donations rose $56 million in Canada. The report covers AHP members' direct response fundraising programs on behalf of more than 2,000 nonprofit healthcare facilities. In the 2009 fiscal year, their efforts yielded $7.6 billion in the U.S. and $1.1 billion in Canada, compared to $8.5 billion and slightly more than $1 billion the previous year. William C. McGinley, President and Chief Executive Officer of AHP, says whether the recession ended in 2009 is for economists to debate. But its ripple effect certainly continued to curtail the ability of donors to give. It means fundraisers will have to work harder and smarter. In the U.S., largest declines were experienced in cash donations, down $818 million from 2008, and secured pledges, which declined $97 million over the year.
It's common when nonprofits deal with reduced budgets. What follows is downsizing services and activities, along with implementing salary freezes, according to a survey by GuideStar. Very few organizations report a decrease in demand for their services or a change in their grant-making practices during the first 5 months of this year. Half of those surveyed say they implemented a salary freeze, and 58% reduced activities or services, while 38% resorted to layoffs. Almost 1/3 instituted a hiring freeze, nearly 1 in 4 reduced employee benefits, and almost 1 in 5 reduced salaries or operating hours. Only 1 in 8 nonprofits say they restructured or merged with another organization. GuideStar, based in Williamsburg, Virginia, compiles nonprofit tax forms and other data online at guidestar.org.
All right, it's time to take a quick break on NPT TV. We will return in 20 seconds with a recap of this year's NPT Power and Influence Top 50 Gala and look into the hearts of donors. Welcome back. The annual NPT Power and Influence Top 50 Gala celebrated the nonprofit executives selected by the Nonprofit Times as the most influential in the United States. Pundit Arianna Huffington of the Huffington Post keynoted this year's event at the National Press Club in Washington, D.C. It was the 13th year for the Power and Influence Top 50 and 6th gala at the National Press Club. Convio, Mitch Stewart Inc., Sage Software, and Social Solutions served as event sponsors. For the full listing of the top 50 honorees, go to nptimes.com.
$90 million people, or some 39% of American adults, have given to charity during the past 12 months. Two big questions are why they gave and why others did not.
A new Heart of the Donor study by the Russ Reed Company in Pasadena, California, found donors gave to an average 5 organizations during a 12-month period. Disaster relief, domestic hunger, health care, people with disabilities, and veterans' causes made at least 50% of the donors lists.
Let's take a look at some of the findings. The survey found the proportion of donors increase as education levels increase. Men and women generally give an equal number, and apathy in religion and/or politics tends to be connected with apathy in supporting a cause.
Questions were asked over the telephone and through a demographically representative online research panel.
Lisa McIntyre, a senior vice president at Russ Reed, joins us now. Lisa, the vast majority of surveys, including those done by the NPT, are self-reporting. Now, is there a difference between what people say and what they actually do?
There's a difference between what people say and what they do when we ask them to predict future behavior. However, Heart of the Donor asked people to report on actions that they've already taken. When we combine that information with what we already know as nonprofit fundraisers from our campaign results, we've got a pretty powerful combination for formulating strategy.
The report says 6 of 10 respondents don't set a budget for giving. Is the majority of giving in the impulse buy category?
The study showed that the best and most consistent donors are highly intentional about how much they give, about who they give to, and about when they give it. However, it is true that 60% of donors tend to make more of what we would consider an impulse decision. That means that as nonprofit fundraisers, we've got to be sure we're putting emotionally compelling stories and immediate options to give in front of them at all times.
Now, Lisa, getting the second gift is tough. What do donors say about why they give again?
Roughly 3 out of 4 people cited 3 reasons as contributing to their decision to make a second gift to an organization. First, the organization clearly described their mission. Second, they made the donor feel that their gift had truly had an impact. And third, they explained exactly what the donor's gift had helped to accomplish. Interestingly, these 3 reasons were cited by every demographic group, regardless of age, household income, or gender. Donors have told us exactly what we need to do if we want them to re-up their commitment to our organization. Now it's simply up to us to execute.
Thanks for that, Lisa. You can get the full report at heartofthedonor.com. It's time for our expert tip. Here is Susan Ellis, volunteer management expert and president and CEO of Energize Inc. in Philadelphia.
What are some of the trends that are percolating in the field at the moment? And there are many, there always are. One trend is the continuing emphasis on single days of service. The idea that a single day of service is something that, for example, corporations love to send their people out as a team to do. But we're also seeing even less than a day of service because we've got micro-volunteering opportunities, things people want to do online, things people want to do by their cell phones. There's a group called the Extraordinaries that is pushing that. So we get this ever-decreasing amount of attention to service. The contradiction is that on the other side of the coin, there are people here talking a great deal about pro bono, consulting type volunteering, highly skilled management capacity consultancy volunteering. And those, almost by definition, if what your aim is to do something really meaningful to help an organization get better at what it does, those are really longer term assignments. So on the one hand, we're pushing people to single days of service. On the other hand, we're talking about some very intensive kind of work. And it is interesting to me that those two things are going on at the same time.
Thanks for sharing that with us, Susan.
And thanks for watching today. Let us know your thoughts on NPT TV by commenting below this player.
And be sure to sign up for the email alerts so you never miss a webcast.
See you in 2 weeks.